Welcome! In today's episode we're going to talk about the basic program interface for Final Cut Express. You can see that there's 4 basic windows. This is the browser here with all the clips. It's basically the gallery of where all of the media elements for the project go. Photos, video, voiceover, music. You put titles there, any other media elements that you would create in other programs like Photoshop or Illustrator would all be imported into the browser, where you can pick and choose from and drag them down into the timeline as you please to arrange your final product. Then you have, this is your viewer slug here, and a viewer slug serves several purposes. First of all, if you double click on any element, whether it's a photo or an audio element, it's going to allow you to view just that element. And to make changes, you can play through it. You can actually, eventually when we get into it, you can add effects to that element and view it in the viewer slug first, and then drag it down into the timeline when you're ready. The other viewer is the canvas viewer, and the canvas viewer is synonymous with the timeline. Basically, you have this playhead here, and as you play through your timeline, you see where your playhead is here is what you're seeing up here in the canvas viewer. And the canvas viewer shows you your timeline. It shows you the interaction of all the elements, particularly when you have elements layered. This is a layered effect where I have taken several photos and scaled them down so that way I can fit multiple photos in one screenshot, basically. And so the canvas viewer is showing the interaction of all of these elements together. However, if I were to click on any one of these individual elements, double click, it shows that element up here in the viewer slug, just that element, and I can move the position of just that element here, and it will actually show it in real time on the canvas viewer as to how that interacts with all of the other elements. I'm going to go here to image wireframe in the viewer slug. I can take this photo here and move it, and as you can see, it's right here in the center on the viewer slug, but with interacting with the other photos, it gets hidden, which is not a good thing. So I'm going to just Apple Z. Apple Z is the undo command for Final Cut Express. It is your best friend in editing because you can undo just about any mistake that you could make in editing with that. Your timeline is split in half. You have this double bar here, which can be moved and adjusted. And everything above this double bar are video tracks. This is a video track, this is a video track, and so on and so forth. You can have up to 99 video tracks. Everything below the double bar is an audio track. This is a track, this is a track, so on and so forth, and you can have up to 99 of those. And that seems like an awful lot of video and audio tracks, and you're probably wondering why you would ever want that many. A track, video or audio, is really nothing more than a layer. If you've worked in Photoshop or Illustrator, then you're familiar with layers, and that's basically what a track is in Final Cut. It's just a layer, and what it allows you to do is compositing effects, as I showed you earlier in this episode with the 4 corners. This is just one of many things that you can do with video and audio layers. This is a video layer effect. You can change transparency, any number of things. The audio layers, it's the same thing. In this particular project that I'm working on, it's very simple. I simply just added a music track, and that was it for audio. But in other projects, you can add music, voiceover, you can keep in ambient noise from your original raw footage and just mix it down, and before you know it, you're up to 10 or 15 different tracks. I just want to take a minute to go back to the viewer slug, because there's a few more things functionally that the viewer slug is important for. So in addition to being able to see each independent element and move it around and play it back and adjust it for later insertion into the timeline, there's also this little button. It looks like a little film reel with an A in it, and if you drop that down, you have all these different options here. You have color bars, which can be used if you're planning on sending this in for broadcast. You have matte, M-A-T-T-E, And we'll start with that. Matte is if you wanted to do like a fade to black effect or a fade to any color effect. So right here the default for matte is to go to gray, and if you go to controls you have the color wheel here. You can choose any color that you'd like, click OK, and it changes color here, and then if you go back over to the video tab it changes from gray to orange. And you can use that as a backdrop to text, or if you're going to scale down photos or video, you can use it as a colorful background. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So now what I can do is go back down to the little A, and I've chosen a color matte, and now I want to do text. And I've got options. I can do text, I could do a crawl, a lower third for name titles, scrolling text, and if I just choose text, that gives me full screen text. So we'll just go for that right now. And this is what the video would look like. And if I go into controls here, I can type in a new message. I can change the font, the size, basically the type of font it is, whether it's bold or italics. I can change the color of the font. And there I have my text, and you can see that the checked background means that the default is a transparent background. So if I were to drop this over either matte or video or a photo or something like that, it would basically do a composite over whatever it goes over. If it's not dropped over a matte color or a clip of video, then the default would actually be a black background. So I'm going to take that and save that in my browser. So for now, because this is really already a finished project, I just want to show you something quick with the titles. I'm going to go to New Sequence, and I'm going to double click it to open it, and I'm going to drag the matte color that we just created and the title that we just created. Well, if we bring the playhead here, you can see that right now we just have the matte in the timeline, and then I'm going to drag the titles that we just created over, and as you can see you have the blue text over the orange matte. If I were to shift the text down just a little bit, you can see that at this point in the timeline it's still the blue over the orange, but then because the matte doesn't extend, eventually you just get to the blue over the black background. And if I took a photo here and put that underneath the text and brought the playhead back, you would see it would be the blue text over the photo. And if I wanted to, let's say, change the size of the photo, I would double click it to bring it up in the viewer slug to open up just that element, and I would change the scale of it, and you can see that if I went back into the video tab of the viewer slug, it shows how I changed the size of just the photo. But again, because I also have the canvas open, it also shows how changing the side effects, how changing the size of the photo element plays in with the other elements available. So now that the photo is changed and is not filling up the whole screen, you have just black background. If I wanted to include the text, the photo, and the matte, I can bring this up, which automatically creates another layer. I can bring up the photo to go underneath the text, and I can extend the matte. So now I've got the orange background with the small photo and the text. And lastly, if I wanted to add music, I just drag my audio file from the browser to below this double line here, and I have music. I just need to render the mix down.